one detail I forgot about his fourth. I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've ever done this. The damage of the fourth scales with Inaros' health.
So who can get the most health on their Inaros, right? There is going to be so many tanky Inaroses running around with his rework. But we also have a little bit more additional information on our Sand King Inaros and his upcoming rework. So let's just dive in and keep it short, sweet, and to the point. We now know that Inaros can have as much as 6 Sand Cats active at any given time. There is a limit, but that limit increase comes with the help of one of his augments. So you don't have an army of cats running around spreading Scarab Swarm, but you can have 6 of them thanks to the Desiccation's Curse augment, now spawning cats instead of sand shadows when you perform a finisher, and increasing the amount of those cats up to 6. Pablo confirmed this yesterday on Twitter. Now, we know that his fort ability scales off his health, like you seen at the start of the video. Pablo mentioned that in the dev stream, which is the first time we've had that kind of interaction, so it will be very interesting to see how it scales the new Scarab Swarm ability, considering how it now stacks corrosive procs per tick as well, meaning maybe 2 green shards, and he could be a 100% armor stripper in a matter of seconds. Now, the new Inaros is going to be a Warframe with a combination of invulnerability, sand zombie revives, heals, huge health values, armor amounts, crowd control, minion spawning, and of course that armor stripping. So it does sound very, very interesting, much more interesting than he is right now, but we won't know exactly how this is going to perform until we get our hands on him, right? But let's just quickly go over what we were shown on the dev stream as to what his changes are in case you missed them, because our Sand Kings rework sounds good. Now, Inaros has a new death state. Gone is that coffin. When you die, you will now turn into a sand zombie version of yourself, which can run around, and in order to revive yourself, you will have to melee enemies and build that revive meter up. Every time you die in a mission, it will require you to hit more and more enemies from that zombie mode in order to fully revive yourself. So if the first death takes 5, 6, 7 hits in order to revive you, then the second death could take 10, 11, 12, and then so on. His first ability is pretty much unchanged, Pocket Sand, which opens up enemies to finishers. Finishers will heal him because of his passive, but he can now perform finishers on more enemy types. His second ability is a combination of his old 2 and 3, or his current 2 and 3. You become a Sandstorm, which will pull enemies in towards you as you spin around in a whirlwind. This will heal you for every enemy that gets hit by that whirlwind, but it will also drag enemies under your feet so that you can perform finishers on them, which also, of course, heals you. So you're getting heals from the whirlwind, but you can also get heals from those ground finishers. Now, his third ability is now the armor part of his old fort, his old Scarab Swarm ability. So you can cast Scarab Armor while moving, but it also has the old status immunity augment incorporated into the ability itself, meaning it now makes you immune to status procs, but when you take a status proc, it will remove a piece of that armor that you have just generated. Now, the armor amount is at the bottom right of your screen, just like where Hydroids will show up, and I think this might also scale off health, but I can't remember if they said that or not. Now, since the effects of the old augment Negation Swarm are now part of that ability itself, it means that Negation Swarm is changing, and this will apparently give you almost a extra life, if you will, the ability to avoid death. Kind of, I'm assuming, like Dagath has right now, but it is an augment, so whether you choose to run it in your build or not is entirely up to you. Now, his fort ability, or his new fort ability, Scarab Swarm, he creates a Scarab Swarm that will spread in a cone in front of him and not just a single target. Enemies killed by the Scarab Swarm will now spawn a Sand Cat, which will attack enemies and also spread that Scarab Swarm even further. So you can apparently lock down an entire room with Scarab Swarm's crowd control if you want to. But on top of that, Scarab Swarm, which used to deal 1 corrosive proc at the end of the cast or at the end of the ability, will now deal a corrosive proc with every tick of damage that it does, which means he will have full armor stripping potential. Green Archon shards, of course, are going to speed this right up, but he will be a Warframe that has the potential to remove armor from enemies relatively quickly, which, as we all know, is an amazing addition to have on any Warframe. Any Warframe that can strip armor is one worth having. And the potential for subsumed abilities to now be put onto the new Inaros to amplify his upcoming changes even more are going to be really cool to test out and really interesting to see what the community puts on him. I'm looking at Wrathful Advance from Kalervo because it might be something to try out on him. It could be a good bit of fun. Let me know what you think could work wonders on the upcoming Inaros and his changes, but that's Inaros and his rework. Have a great day. Let me know in the comment section what you think of it. Have a great week, and as always, thanks for watching.